Into the Radius was a game I was cautious about at first, given that it had the horror tag on it. Now, as someone who hasn't played those games or isn't particularly interested in those games, it wasn't something I bought straight away. But I had a very limited supply of games on VR, and I did have experience with the Fallout and the Stalker games, and a little bit of the Metro as well. So I thought I'd jump into it. And I can honestly say that it's probably one of the best purchases I've made where gaming is concerned, as it's quickly become one of my favourite games that I've played ever. How the game presents itself with its ambient music, its almost bleak colour palette and its mechanics, whether that be the weapon cleaning, the looting or the simple ammo loading, creates an immersive atmosphere that calls you back time and time again. Even the enemies, the unfortunate souls you come up against, leave you almost excited to fear them, as it brings an element of tension to the game that I've not yet seen in other VR games. The variation of enemies you come across can have you on your toes or behind cover, from the spider/facehugger type who you'll find you waste your ammo on trying to shoot them as they run up to you, to the souls of armed policemen lost to the Radius, defending the world that once was. Of course you get used to the enemies, but preparing for them is where it gets a little more interesting, as the game space refreshes every 5 days. The game calls it the Tide, where enemies are reset, the loot is reset, and you must fight through a fresh zone to make it to your destination. And with each zone, you're given new missions and new enemies to come across. But it's not always the enemies that can seem scary. Sometimes it's yourself that'll make you jump.
Oh my god, okay.
The game will often tell you what you're actually going to be needing, so sometimes when you prepare for a mission, it'll give you ideas for a gas mask or maybe certain ammo types to defeat armoured enemies, who are absolutely the bane of my life no matter what mission I go on, because the likelihood is they're a lot more armed than your sorry ass is and will gun you down the first chance they actually get.
Where's that coming from? There. And behind me. Really, you sneaky cunt.
As well as keeping your ammo and supplies in check, you've got to keep yourself in check as well. By keeping an eye on your health, your stamina and your fatigue, you can avoid dropping either dead or unconscious in the middle of the Radius. Instead of a HUD showing all of this, like traditional games, you rely on your wristwatch to keep you informed. You can stay healthy by using the stim shots you find either around the map or by buying them. Use your bed to stay awake, and either nutrition bars or canned food are ideal to prevent you from starving. But without a knife, canned food becomes useless. As I unfortunately learnt the hard way.
And I've not got a knife. This could have started better. This could have started a lot better.
The missions themselves are split into categories. These categories are what I call package retrieval, search and destroy, and wildlife photography. Search and destroy and wildlife photography are quite simple ones, as they involve either killing enemies or taking photos of them, you know, as it says. Package retrieval is sort of the reason this video exists. I was set out to retrieve something called the Heavy Helix. However, as it says in the title, I forgot the package after going the whole way there. And not only that, I didn't even collect the right package. This is how the game levels progression, by sending you on increasingly more complicated, harder missions to level up your security level, which allows you to, in turn, gain access to more weaponry. My most recent mission was to gain level 4, which I gauge as just over halfway through the game. Whereas for the first one that I mentioned earlier, you had to retrieve one package from a lightly armed area, this time I had to retrieve a bomb from guards, then fight my way through a factory in order to place that bomb to find a crate through an armoured door. That crate I couldn't store in my backpack, so I had to carry it in one hand with my pistol in the other. It was worth it though. The mission did award me with $4,500, and I managed to find a Mosin Nagant sniper rifle as ground loot. Income can also be gained with the loot you collect by exploring and just looking through points of interest while you're doing a mission. It can often actually bring more money than the prize that your current mission brings. So it's always encouraged to thoroughly search an area before you come back to your base, as you could be missing out on quite a lot of loot. The only issue that comes with looting is the weight. Your backpack will always tell you how much you're carrying, and I advise being careful around the 30kg mark. You may have all that loot, but it's not worth being slower than the enemies chasing you.
Yeah, my weight is like severely low. I'm a severely heavy lad right now. Yeah, okay.
Something else I appreciate from this game is its ability to cater to the quick player who wants to be right back in the action, and the slower player who wants to enjoy the ride more. It's more in the little things that this can be seen though. When reloading your gun, for example, it's often the case that you can just place the magazine into the ammo box and it will load it. However, if you wish, you can load each individual round into the magazine, something which I found myself doing more and more as it's just so pleasing to the monkey part of my brain. The other section of this comes in how you repair your weapons. The condition of your gun, its magazines, and all the attachments will deteriorate over time and you will have to repair it. The same comes with any weaponry you find on the ground, for example, the Mosin I found. However, with ground weaponry, it's likely they will be in a lot worse condition. You either have the option to repair this through the repair cupboard for a small fee, or you can take the time repairing it properly, like I did with the Mosin, which was certainly satisfying to say the least, even if the grabbing rod did look a little bit sus.
That looks so weird. Yeah, get that out. Get that in. I'll have to put some like central music over this animation.
From all I've played on this game, which admittedly tops out to about 14 hours, I can confidently say it's in my top 10 games of all time. I'm looking forward to seeing what the developers come up next. I know they plan to do quarterly updates, so I'll definitely look forward to them. But thank you if you made it this far into the video. I know it was a bit choppy, so I do appreciate that. I do have a Twitch, it should be below in the description, though I am currently in a house with Wi-Fi slower than my nan in a running race, so it may be a while until I stream. Until then, I thank you, and I will see you again.